Officers, I would like to report a brutal, gruesome, graphically detailed murder of the WWE Survivor Series event. Yes? Oh, you already know the culprit? Oh, yeah, it's NXT TakeOver WarGames 2. Yeah, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, NXT TakeOver WarGames 2 just basically committed murder on WWE main roster bill once more. And I am once again trying to process, hey, they're part of the same company. Could you stop with acting like they're two separate entities? Wait, they are? But the booking's so good and the talent's so deep and so diverse and creative. The main roster has great talent, but they all suck with creativity. Not the talent, I'm pretty sure they have tons of great ideas, but Vince hates them. So, what's the difference here? Yeah, so NXT had this big event going on. Remember how I said, it's, NXT tends to destroy WWE? Yeah, yeah, we get this once more, and originally it was set to be a 5-match show, but then they cut it down to 4 because Triple H had said that the reason why they did is because the show would be long, and they didn't want to add an extra match to the long list. And I was like, wait, they own their own network, but they can go as long as they want, and probably fans wouldn't care if it went for 500 hours because they'd be seeing greatness out of it and not as tiresome. And Triple H's philosophy was just like how how he said in the Stone Cold podcast about Monday Night Raw, how he says, like, why would I want to overblow a show up just for the sake of adding more content to it if it's going to be filler or something like that. Like, Triple H has been adamant against overblowing a show, and yeah, this show's tonight. Like, he really wanted to do 5 matches, I believe, but he didn't want to oversaturate the show and actually give the audience want to see more out of it instead of overblowing it with over content and even not good content like filler. But of course, Triple H got his dream to get 5 matches on there, but 1 match had to be substantially cut. So let's get into what is the massacre and go into great detail. So opening up the show, we get Matt Riddle, the Super King of Bros, and the guy I'm hoping will be the one that destroys Brock Lesnar and his career in WWE. But really, I just want Lesnar to go away in general, so no one has to see his annoying laziness ever again, and be excruciatingly tortured by the fact that he's going to probably try and murder Bryan. Yeah, I hope Bryan's neck doesn't go out. So, Matt Riddle goes ahead, cuts a promo, and calls out Ono, Cash's Ono. Yeah, I'm still trying to wonder why his last name's Ono, like... I know KO is taken because of Kevin Owens, but Cassius Ono, I can't take that last name seriously still. Like, wouldn't it have been a lot better if they called him Cassius Knockout? Like, since his gimmick is like he likes to knock people out, I'm like, that's why his initials are KO. But they don't really say it, they just... Okay. But anyways, Cassius Vows comes out and says that Riddle is too stupid to know he isn't ready for this, and says he's going to knock him out. Then Matt Riddle hits Ono with a knee to the face right when the bell rings and gets a 7-second victory. Yeah, Cassius Ono has been destroyed, so... Yeah, it seems like... Okay, here's the difference when it comes to the main roster's handling of jobbers and the NXT style of jobbers. In the NXT world, they give a jobber a character to make you have at least more investment in them. Main rosterville just go to hire enhancement talent to go ahead and be destroyed, or they go ahead and take a guy who has a lot of potential and just throw him into the wolves to be fed by the much bigger ones because Vince hates them. Or they're not Roman Reigns. So I get the feeling Cassius Ono is never going to be main roster worthy in Vince's eyes. Nothing like Vince has been very adamant from what I heard, or Triple H, because Vince has apparently not liked the way Cassius Ohno looks. Like, his body, his weight, and whatnot. Like, yeah, I do wonder why. I do know why he wears that shirt, but like, it just feels like it's not even like standing. It's not even like trying to stand out. Like, okay, like I've been body shamed, so to speak, for years now because of my weight. But I was thinking like, but like Kevin Owens, he can be considered somewhat a little overweight, but he's been treated with some dignified respect most of the time. Okay, only half the time. But yeah, Cassius Ohno loses in 7 seconds, and Matt Riddle scores his scores a major victory. So then we officially get, and before the show even starts officially, at 7:10, Triple H tweeted that it's already trending worldwide on Twitter, which shows the power of the developmental brand that Vince considers it to be. But yeah, anyways, so yeah, Kairi Sane and Shiny Razor, like, they said that was one of the reasons why they cut Matt Riddle and Cassius Ohno at first before they just brought it in for 7 seconds. And because they knew that this match would also be long along with the WarGames match, and I'll get to that when I can. But, yeah. So, here's the thing that really kind of bugged me about Shania Baszler versus Kairi Sane. It was only 10 minutes and 55 seconds. Yeah. Also, fellow horsewomen of the MMA scene went ahead and assisted Shania Baszler, which means that it's inevitable that they're going to do something, but now they give Kairi Sane the first loss, and she taps out to Shania Baszler's chokehold maneuver, and then eventually Kairi Sane manages to fight off both of the horsewomen allies of the UFC, of the MMA scene, and basically gets this, and Shania Baszler tries to go ahead to drop Kairi Sane on her back on the apron side, but then in one of the most brutal movements, Kairi Sane lands a huge DDT, and I was generally thinking, well, she's dead. And then she goes ahead, climbs on the top turnbuckle, and takes out all 3 women of the MMA horsewomen. And Kairi Sane goes ahead, drops her elbow, and gets the second fall to even it all up. But however, the referee for some reason doesn't want to throw the 2 women out. And then, like, yeah, it gets more chaotic. And then all of a sudden, we get Dakota Kai and okay, I'm trying to pronounce her name. It's difficult for me, but yeah, another friend who was a tag team partner, I believe, in the Independents in Japan, in another company. I think it was the All Women Wrestling Company there. Kairi Sane's old tag team partner came out and hit a beautiful moonsault from the top turnbuckle onto all 3 women while Sane hits an insane elbow. However, Shania Baszler kicks out and scores the third fall out of nowhere with a rollover, retaining her title. 10 minutes and 55 seconds. I was a little disappointed by this match. Not the way it was, but because I did like that it was so short. But I didn't realize that means WarGames is going to be a long match. And last year was 37 minutes. Then we get to Aleister Black and Johnny Gargano. I've not talked about the build-up or anything about it for this moment. You see, remember how Aleister Black was injured and they had to write him out of the story because of this? Well, whereas normally in Vince's world, he just makes people forget about him until he comes back because everyone hates you. They decide to actually do this. Let's do a murder mystery style event. No kidding. For 2 months, please know, there was a 2-month storyline investigating into who attacked Aleister Black so he could recover but still tell a story with him still involved in the program. Then you got Nikki Cross going the whole I know, I know, I know, to the point that everyone was chanting, she knows, she knows, she knows. And like, I'm just thinking to myself, oh my god, they're actually taking their time with this. They even insert actual genuine comedy, and Nikki Cross is being as entertaining as all hell. And I'm just wondering, why did Nikki Cross debut on the main roster to lose to Becky Lynch? Like, all due respect to Becky Lynch, but I just kept saying, Nikki Cross should not have tapped out. She should have passed out. And I was told by certain people on Twitter that, well, that wouldn't work because Becky Lynch would have actually looked weak. Okay, here's an idea. How about you have Nikki Cross, since she's so insane, why not have her go ahead, show up on Raw, go ahead and attack Ronda Rousey or challenge Ronda Rousey and challenge her to see if she can make her tap out. But Ronda Rousey does it, and she fails miserably because Nikki Cross enjoys the pain and gets herself out cold. Like, think about it. Imagine if they did that. It would have put Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch on an even playing field, knowing they can't make this one girl tap out, yet this girl managed to survive and actually pass out without tapping and giving up to the baddest bitch on the planet, as she calls herself, and the Man. So, think about that. Imagine if they did that. That actually would have worked and made Nikki Cross really, really, like, you gotta pay attention to this woman. She is a badass. Because she just went ahead, got thrown into that arm-popping armbar by Ronda Rousey, and then also got the disarmer, and she doesn't tap. She passes out because the pain is so intense, but she's not giving up. You know, double the Stone Cold style thing, but not do a double turn. So yeah, they did all this, but there was this whole investigation going on in NXT trying to figure out who attacked Aleister Black. They gave this character development. We actually got talent who's not really utilized as much to show up. And they even said that anybody could be a suspect because Aleister Black has had a history of kind of pissing people off on TV. Like, you got the obvious suspect, Tommaso Ciampa. You got Velveteen Dream, an old rival. Lars Sullivan, an old rival. Hell, you could have actually... And I kept joking that what if they went ahead and had Vince McMahon hire John Cena or Randy Orton to attack Aleister Black? Because honestly, let's be real, Aleister Black is an NXT guy and Vince hates those people because he sees them as second rate in his eyes. At least as far as we know, because this contradicts the statement where Vince doesn't say he doesn't watch NXT according to Triple H, even though Triple H apparently never had said that. Someone just misinterpreted it. And I also know that's also not true because there's an image of Vince watching Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sami Zayn on the official WWE Twitter account. So, does Vince watch it or not? But that does paint Vince in a much more dumber light, knowing he has seen Nakamura and therefore hates him. Because foreign people are the devil in his eyes. And not American. But yeah, anyways. And then everyone was starting to think, okay, considering the timing of all this, we all knew where this was going. Here's the thing. I knew where this was going. I just knew it. But I was like, I let it have a twist come in that makes sense instead of a twist that makes no sense. Johnny Gargano is revealed to be the attacker. He reveals himself after Aleister Black found out, thanks to Nikki Cross's information, and Johnny Gargano has completely let his hatred and anger towards Tommaso Ciampa consume him to the point that he has become the very thing he has sworn to destroy. Much to the despair and dismay of the fans, knowing that their hero has turned on them and betrayed everything he believed in. Think about this. Johnny Gargano's turn just came off weeks, and if by extension the taping, a month before their other hero, Daniel Bryan, turned heel on the SmackDown before Survivor Series. So now, Gargano and Bryan, two of the biggest faces WWE has, have turned to the dark side And they don't have anyone else to counterbalance that. I'm not counting when Roman Reigns was around. That would not have worked still. But that does kind of put a wrench in my dream match idea, where we could have Tommaso Ciampa versus a pre-leukemia heel Roman Reigns versus Johnny Gargano and Daniel Bryan in a winner-take-all match for the WWE Universal title, the WWE Intercontinental title, and the Tag Team titles. Just mirror Triple H, Austin, and the Brothers of Destruction. But yeah, let's get back to what was eventually building as all this up for. This match between Aleister Black and Johnny Gargano at NXT TakeOver WarGames. Sorry I went on this big tangent, but I just really loved talking about NXT TakeOver. And, oh my god, they have such fantastic chemistry. It was so awesome. They were doing these kick sequences and all these insane jumps and flips, and I'm just like, oh my god. Oh my god! And like, I love the storytelling to it. Like, Johnny Gargano generally thinks he's the good guy, that he's crossing this darkness, he's staring right back at it, and he's saying, I accept you, but still keeps thinking he's the hero in this story. He even kind of promo with like a video camera where he goes ahead and he even acts like the Joker for like a small moment where he says, but you do one thing that people find bad and everyone freaks out. And like, okay, where's his white makeup and red lips and green hair and purple suit? Where is it? Because he just went Joker for a second. Dark Knight Joker. But yeah, and here's the thing I also loved, and this was possibly what you should think when you say, character development, Vince, learn it, is when you see Johnny Gargano's entrance. It's not his entrance from before. It's all corrupted and contorted. The logo's been contorted. The entrance has been twisted with spikes, and it's all the video has been twisted with spikes of his name and his face logo thing he has. It's all warped and with like the Punisher logo, and like he's, oh my god, he's actually crazy, and he's saying he's the chosen one, and like, wow, he must have really bought into that whole Anakin Skywalker stuff, and when everyone was saying, you were the chosen one who says you would destroy Tommaso Ciampa and save NXT, not fall for it. Bring glory to NXT, not leave it in darkness. Except Obi-Wan's not in this story, and thank God for that, because that Obi-Wan story was a complete idiot. Yes, I hate Obi-Wan as well to an extent. But moving on. But every time, in fact, Johnny even changes his iconic Johnny Wrestling to Johnny Takeover to show that, yeah, he's kind of lost his mind. And then, like, these strikes, these kicks, these knee strikes, and, like, Johnny Gargano selling this. They're really thinking he's this great guy. Like, he like, I have done nothing wrong. In fact, even people were siding with him on Twitter saying, hashtag Johnny did nothing wrong. It's like thinking like, okay, well, when you compare it to Thanos killing half the universe, for granted a reasonable answer regarding overpopulation concern in the galaxy, in the universe, but still mass murder. But like, yeah, and all throughout this, I was thinking, like, okay, Johnny has to technically win this match so they can go ahead and build up this heel character they're doing. And like, really, and like, Johnny Gargano even goes ahead and says, like, he wants him, like, Aleister Black goes ahead, does his trademark meditative pose, and Johnny just runs through the ring and then just kicked Aleister Black in the face right when he sat down. And I was like, yeah, why has no one actually done that up until now? Huh. Oh well, that was awesome. And then he mocks Aleister Black and tries to line up for his finisher, mirroring DIY. But then Aleister Black sits in the middle of the ring and tells him to give him his best shot. Then Aleister ducks a kick and the second one sadly connects. But Black still manages to kick out. And then Black is thrown out of the ring. Gargano tries to go for a suicide dive, but right in the middle of the suicide dive, Aleister Black just knees him in the face. And I'm just like, and my mouth was open wide thinking, what the hell just happened? Like, there is no way they really did that. Like, you had to have your face caved in if that happened. But then... And then Johnny Gargano tries to tell him to put him out of his misery with the black mask, but then it's revealed that he really is embracing his darkness, where he goes ahead, lies to Aleister Black and locks in the Gargano escape. Black gets out and nails his spinning knee to the face, and then he takes his knee pad off and hits an unknee to the head, and he then smashes Johnny Gargano's head in with a black mask. But Gargano doesn't fall. He lands on Aleister Black. And then Aleister Black, I think he says, I absolve you of all your sins. And then hits Johnny with another black mask for the win. And I'm like, dialogue in a wrestling match? Like, oh my god, that was a fantastic match. It's almost stole the show. Oh, let's be honest. NXT always steals the show. It steals the weekend. Steals every single show. And let's just say it. All the matches stole the show because all of them had brought something to the table and was unique of their own way and not some generic stuff. But, yeah. Aleister Black and Johnny Gargano. Everyone was worried that the other two matches probably couldn't top it. And I was just thinking, okay, all those who've been watching NXT for so long, you are underestimating their power. When they see someone steal the show, they say, okay, I can do better. I want to do better. And sure enough, we got our second back-to-back, a back-to-back great legendary matchup. And then we get Velveteen Dream versus Tommaso Ciampa. And here's the thing. This was a possibility, but I was seriously biased in this match. Because I thought, like, this is where they're going, right? Where they build this whole angle up. It was the timing was right. Think about it. It's NXT TakeOver WarGames 2. What happened last year? Velveteen Dream had his Hello World moment when he fought Aleister Black in the first WarGames event. Now think about this. Imagine if Velveteen Dream wins. He beats Tommaso Ciampa, the biggest heel they have, and he's turned face. And last year he was the heel, Aleister was the hero, and then 1 year later, Velveteen Dream's the hero, and Tommaso Ciampa's the villain. And, you're thinking, oh my god, think about this. Enjoy Infamy, Velveteen Dream turns into The Dream is Realized. It was boom, the perfect marriage. You had a year storyline you could weave in to go ahead and tell this ultimate tale of everything coming full circle. And I was ecstatic for this. I wanted him to win this match. So, what's the Velveteen Dream's next gimmick dress-up he's going to dress up as? Well, he was hinting it on Twitter. And I had said it repeatedly that they're going to do it, especially in where they were at. And sure enough, he comes out dressed like Hollywood Hulk Hogan of the NWO, but wears a shirt that's not the NWO, but says OVA. Which can mean two things. One, he watches tons and tons of anime. Original video animation, as they're usually called. Or B, OVA! And Tommaso Ciampa comes out just holding his title like he's Gollum with the One Ring, referring it to as precious, and they go to war. You hear me? War. And I knew if Velveteen Dream does the Hulkster, it's like a Hulk up JR and whatnot, and I was thinking, okay, they gotta do it. They have to do that. I know they have a policy against Hogan after coming back from Crown Jewel to still not mention him, but NXT says, no, fuck that policy. We're gonna mention Hollywood Hogan all day on this. We're gonna even copy one of his mannerisms in the ring. Much to Vince's hatred, I bet. In fact, now that I think about it, this is like the third time Vince has taken a shot at Vince. Really think about it. The first time was saying the Dream has no memory of that, referencing Vince's obsession of retconning history. The second one is Call Me Up, Vince, where he basically just says, hey, Vince, notice me, I want to be promoted, even though I know you suck. And now the third one is bringing up Hulk Hogan and a policy that Vince says, do not mention Hulk Hogan. Yeah, remember how I said Dreams has huge balls to go ahead and tell Vince you're a fucking dumbass? Well, Dream just did it, and I'm pretty sure he knows that he's not going to go anywhere in Vince's world so far. In fact, the report had came out that it's been said that Dream might never get a chance to really shine on the big stage on main rosterville because, one, he's 23 years old. Yeah, Vince is now at the age-shaming style. He already went from body-shaming Nia Jax constantly, and much as I still disagree with that, Nia Jax has become an unsafe worker, ruining the Becky Lynch-Ronda Rousey match, however might have saved it for WrestleMania, but still. And then there's the xenophobia attitude, the foreign shaming, and now he's going to ageism. Vince, you just really hate everybody, do you? And plus he says, Dream doesn't have the build. He is not muscular. He is not Roman Reigns, damn it. Though, and I'm pretty sure the constant shots Dream has taken to Vince is possibly also involved in this. But yeah. And I love the story in this. This guy has worked 1 year and he's already close to achieving the ultimate goal of winning the NXT World Title. As much as Vince will probably say it's not a world title, I call it a world title. I don't care. If Vince can alter stuff, then I'm going to go ahead and use my headcanon. But yeah, and I loved how the details got, like Dream spitting while being choked by Tommaso Ciampa, and Tommaso Ciampa just rubbing the spit all over Velveteen Dream's face, and I'm like, oh, Ciampa, you sick bastard. And then it gets more crazier. Every single second they keep going. The match just feels like it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And you're wondering, how can they top all this? And sure enough, they top it. Like, eventually it gets to a point where even the referee is making logical statements where he goes ahead, sees Tommaso Ciampa going for the tights, and he has him in the tights, in a roll-up, and then the referee stops the count saying, no, you went for the tights, you do not go for the tights. And I was thinking, wait, you mean to tell me the referee is not blind and is actually giving us drama? Oh god, sir, we need to call the paramedics. Survivor Series isn't standing a chance. It's probably not going to make it, but still, we gotta try something. I'm like, we could probably dance on it. I'm pretty sure it's not going to work. I'm like, it will fail afterwards. But yeah, and then he does the leg drop on Tommaso Ciampa after channeling Hogan 3 times. And also, speaking of Hogan, yeah, I still hate the guy for a variety of reasons, mostly calling hurricane victims crybabies over power and people dying. Still, he deleted a tweet, so there's an image of it on Twitter, on the internet, because you basically are saying, hey, I believe I could get this off the internet. Hogan, I know you're old, but you have to know that the internet can never be truly deleting stuff. But besides the point, Dream had actually been told that Hulk Hogan would love to be Dream's manager, and Velveteen Dream said, nah, not interested, Terry. And I was like, oh my god, he called him by his real name. Wow, Dream, you are so glad. I bet you are real glad that this is not the 1990s now. Because then Hogan would have buried you still. Yeah. And sure enough, and then it gets even crazier when eventually Ciampa, realizing that he's losing and he's probably gonna lose his precious, he decides to go desperate, really desperate. He goes outside, rips the matted floor off to prepare to smash him through concrete. And Dream manages to get out of the way and shove him and crash them both into the announce tables. And then Dream gets out, and then Tommaso Ciampa, in his fury, goes ahead and I thought slapping Mauro in the face, but it looked more like he shoved him with Mauro notes and screaming at him, much to everyone's elation, like, oh god, this is actually gonna happen. And sure enough, Dream gets ahead, does the Death Valley Driver on the concrete, rolls him into the ring, drops the elbow on him. It's 1, 2, and oh my god, he kicked out! And sure enough, Dream tries, and then Ciampa retreats into the corner, and Dream tries to go for another elbow chop, but then lands on the outside floor when Ciampa gets out of the way, and like, it's done. He's done for. And sure enough, Tommaso Ciampa goes ahead and like pulls him between the ropes and DDTs him on the steel partition that connects the two rings, and then pulls the challenger back in the first ring to actually get the victory. And I was like, okay, can we keep Dream in NXT at least? Like, he's never going to be somebody on the main roster because Vince hates him and all the shots he made and referencing a racist still, but can we keep him in NXT? Like, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, they're safe for a little bit. They'll be in 205 Live, which is also run by Triple H, but still, I would love to see them as world champions. And competing inside Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania as the main event, that would be freaking awesome. But yeah, Ciampa wins and everyone's pissed off, like, no, Dream's moment was so close. Like, this was the one match I actually felt angered that they got that result. Like, this was the first time I felt mad at Triple H for choosing to keep Ciampa as champion. Like, it was so perfect. Velveteen Dream, he started off as the guy that everyone thought was going to fail after failing to be Patrick Clark, and then he transforms into this gimmick that no one can understand, and then all of a sudden Dream is making it work. He's getting people to cheer for him, and then all of a sudden he fights Aleister Black. Aleister Black says his name, and Velveteen Dream inadvertently wins the feud, even though he lost the match. And then he's on this huge roll and delivering main event quality performances, almost to the point that you're wondering, how the hell is this guy in his early 20s, and how is he the same age as me? And he's stealing the show every single night. And then he finally gets to become world champion on the show that he made his name. Really think that would have been the perfect story. So perfect. I honestly would have thought it would have surpassed Aleister Black's whodunit storyline. Like, they had such an ultimate perfect happy ending moment. They could have Velveteen Dream have come full circle while defeating the biggest asshole heel they have on NXT, and in fact wrestling in general. But no, they didn't do it, and I actually kind of got mad at that. And once again, Ciampa claims that he's the greatest sports entertainer of all time because everyone knows they hate the fact that he calls himself everyone hates the whole sports entertainment. It's not professional wrestling because my daddy didn't want me to wrestle, so I'm going to make life miserable for everyone who says that word. Look what I did to the revival, damn it! So, yeah. And then, now we get to this main event. WarGames. We got War Machine, also known as the War Raiders, Ricochet, and the longest reigning, defending longest reigning champion of the modern era, Pete Dunne, baby! Versus the reunified, undisputed era with Bobby Fish. And Okay, the rules have been altered slightly since this is not the three-man teams that it was from last year. So, yeah, we get our massive WarGames match. And I must stress, this started around 9, and this match lasted for 47 minutes. They went over 17 minutes overtime to get this match correctly. Sure enough, Adam Cole and Ricochet are the first people in the ring. They're fighting. Then Kyle O'Reilly comes out, heads to the ring, and proceeds to help Adam Cole beat the crap out of Ricochet. And then we get this brutal beatdown. And Ricochet tries to fight back, but he's just getting pounded away by 2-on-1. And then Pete Dunne looks like he's going to come out of the cage when the bell calls for it, but then Hanson of the War Raiders, of War Machine basically, comes out and stops him and goes out instead. And then you realize, they're not really teammates. In fact, I'm surprised Pete Dunne let Ricochet go first. And then Hanson begins to dominate Cole and O'Reilly, and I'm thinking like, oh my god, he's going to be the Killian Dane of this match, isn't he? He's really going to be the Killian Dane. And then we get him holding Ricochet up to jump off his back to hit a shooting star press. And then the time goes down after 3 more minutes, and Roderick Strong is the next one to come out. Proceed to go ahead and help out and starts taking out Hanson and Ricochet with a barrage of offense. And then the Undisputed Era takes control and starts to triple team on them. And then Rogue comes out when the timer reaches 0, blocking Pete Dunne again, much to Pete Dunne's anger and the fans' frustration. And then it just gets more and more crazier when Rogue begins to destroy everyone as he comes into contact with, picks up O'Reilly and Hanson puts Strong on his shoulders so Rogue could take both men down at the same time, where he basically does a power slam power bomb. Yeah. So yeah, and the War Raiders proceed to drive Cole into the cage wall. Bobby Fish is the final man for the Undisputed Era when the timer runs out, and then instead of running to the ring, he decides to say, "Wait, this is NXT, which means I'm allowed to be smart." Proceeds to run over, puts the lock of the cage that he was in into Pete Dunne's cage to keep him in there, proceeds to knock him down for a little bit, then run to the ring afterwards claiming, I got it! And then he goes under the ring, gets a bunch of steel chairs, but there's a difference with them. They all have the Undisputed Era logo on it. Hey, remember when villains had items that had their logo name or their name to it to basically show that they're kind of egotistical bastards? Yeah, those were the days. Well, NXT says, let's bring that back. So, yeah. So Bobby Fish goes ahead and brings in a whole bunch of chairs with the Undisputed Era's logo on it. And they sure enough proceed to start massacring everyone in sight, beating down everybody. And then Adam Cole is mocking Pete Dunne, saying that they run this place. And sure enough, the referee's trying to get trying to get the key to work on the lock. That's not working, and because Bobby Fish threw the key into the audience, so that means they're never gonna find that. It'd probably be in the trash compactor at the end of all this. So yeah, and then the refs come back out with bowl cutters to get the beatdown continues, and finally Pete Dunne comes out and brings kendo sticks and then Ricochet takes out everyone on the opposing team, and then Pete Dunne decides to fulfill Killian Dane's role of being Killian Dane and decides to say, you know what, I'll just do what Killian Dane did last year. Bring in all the weapons! We got chairs, kendo sticks, a chain! Let's see, we got 2 tables, let's see, what else can we throw in here? More steel chairs, kendo sticks, okay, let's see. Oh yeah, I forgot I got this chain. Let's do it. And then everything goes to hell in a good way. Like you got all this chaos going on. Everyone's dishing out the best of their abilities in this match. It's pure anarchy. This is where WarGames technically, quote, officially begins. But yeah, they go to war in this. They are at war. They're tearing each other apart. They're going for injured areas, like Bobby Fish's recently repaired knee and Pete Dunne's recently injured foot. And it's just royal hell. It's just so fun. And Dunn, when he's surrounded by them, starts to throw fists and somehow gets the upper hand on the Undisputed Era and takes them all out. And I was like, okay, if Matt Riddle's not going to be allowed to beat Brock Lesnar, can we at least have Pete Dunne do it? That would be awesome. Oh, who am I kidding? He's too small in Vince's eyes. Oh, and he's also British and therefore a foreigner. And therefore foreigners are evil people to him. So Vince will get uncomfortable if they let Brock Lesnar lose to a foreigner, the worst kind of person in my eyes. Vince Kennedy McMahon will never allow it. But you can still say you hate America because that's what foreign people do, right? They all hate America. There's not one person that thinks America's a good country, or the ideas of it's good, or the principles about it, or really anyone who just wants to not have an opinion about it. Really? Okay. And then there was another thing I loved. Like, they go ahead, beat down Pete Dunne, get him into a submission move with a steel chair in the chain, and Adam Cole and Bobby Fish are acting as a wall with their weapons, trying to keep all of the opposing forces, keep the War Raiders and Ricochet away on the other side of the ring. And Pete Dunne doesn't give up. He's still trying to fight it. He doesn't tap out. And I'm like, oh my God. Just... oh God, this is so awesome. And then when they bring in the tables and set them up, O'Reilly applies a triangle choke on top of it on Ricochet, but then Hanson breaks it up with a frog splash and puts Kyle O'Reilly through the table. Strong breaks up the pin with a trash can. Cole climbs to the top of the cage, so does Ricochet. They trade punches. Then Strong climb up to join them. Eventually, Roderick Strong and Adam Cole try to throw Ricochet off the cage, and I'm thinking, hey, look, we get more smart heels. They're actually being smart. You know, that word that Vince thinks are an evil concept, therefore he doesn't use it at all. He prefers everyone to be morally dumb because that sells. But yeah, and then everyone starts to get involved to the point that we get a 7-man Tower of Doom! And everyone crashes, and then Ricochet stands up on the top of the cage and hits not a 360 moonsault, a 630 moonsault, nearly a 720 to take everyone down. And I was like, okay, I know Marinell likes to sing Mamma Mia a lot, but he better say the F-bomb. And sure enough, he says the F-bomb, where he says, Mamma frickin' Mia! And I'm like, okay, is Triple H secretly watching me? Because he has to know I really wanted that to happen. And then both sides on the opposite side of the ring, they go ahead and basically get in the middle of the ring, enter it, get on the steel floor area, and then they start trading trash talk, and then all of a sudden it's a massive brawl between the rings, and I'm just like, oh God, I'm actually crying. This is beautiful. Can we get this more effort on the main shows? Okay. And sure enough, then Ricochet and Pete Dunne manages to get the upper hand when Pete Dunne, eventually after Adam Cole tries to finish it, goes ahead and does that finishing maneuver of his, and then Ricochet hits his finisher on Adam Cole before they both cover him together for the pin and get the victory. And I'm just like, oh my God, can we just praise everyone? Can we just, yeah. So, and then after the show's over, the match is done, the main event's finished, so Pete Dunne and Ricochet are staring at each other, signifying that this is not the end of their personal little war. Wait, you mean to tell me The two people who don't like each other put aside their differences for a common enemy and manage to still work together and pay respects towards one another and not have a combustible element that throws everyone off and starts turning on each other? Hey Vince, do you want to continue Survivor Series? Because the show looks like it's turned into a bloody massacre fest, beat down bloody pulp, and it's probably in ways that I can never describe because this show was murdering it. And then to further end the show, Pete Dunne and Ricochet go on top of the cage, they pose together, and right before the broadcast went ahead and cut to black, we were just about to see them toast with their championship belts, and I was thinking, this was phenomenal. This is the best NXT TakeOver again. Like, WarGames 2 blew everything out of the water. It actually destroyed the previous best NXT TakeOver they had, which was also had destroyed the previous TakeOver this year, and then the other one, and I'm just like, okay, so how many times is NXT TakeOver going to murder each other to the point that one's only supreme and that's going to take forever? And then and they're all agreeing, okay, let's murder the main roster shows. Okay, let's do it. And sure enough, they murder all the main roster shows. But yeah. So that is the graphically detailed bloody murder that NXT had committed on Survivor Series. There's no recovery. Like, the evidence is all over the place. There is no way they can. There's no way they can fix this. They had a chance with Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch, but then Nia Jax screwed it all up. And what many people are now starting to debate whether or not that was a deliberate attack. So that was proven to be deliberate. Nia Jax's career is screwed, and not even The Rock can save her. But yeah, that was the. This was the. Basically, let's see, what's the words I can describe it? This was the killing of Survivor Series. This was the death of Survivor Series. This was the death of everything Vince hates and whatnot. And once again, NXT proves that it's the superior brand, the supreme brand. This right here is the future of wrestling. You can call this the NXT of wrestling, brother. And not only are they going to take over the whole wrestling business, they will destroy everything in their path, Vince McMahon. And sure enough, they have. They continue the war of attrition with main rosterville, and everyone once again is saying the same thing. It sucks that all these guys are inevitably going to be promoted, and I use that very loosely, to the show and be treated like garbage. So, I'm just going to enjoy this for as much as I can, but still complain about it whenever they screw up the booking. So, yeah. NXT TakeOver WarGames 2, phenomenal event. All the matches stole it. There's no way you could say, okay, which match was superior? I want to say Aleister Black and Johnny Gargano. Oh, wait, Velveteen Dream and Tommaso Ciampa? Okay, I can go with that. Oh, wait, WarGames stole the show? Oh, man. Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler actually made a killer performance despite its overbookedness? Wow, I really can't choose. But, yeah. This was my investigation into explaining the death of Survivor Series. So, yeah, this was my thoughts on NXT TakeOver WarGames 2. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate, and stay tuned for more.